Hey y'all, it's Daniel with Escape Powersports and welcome to another UTV maintenance video. Today we're going to run through the steps on how to change the oil and filter on your Am Maverick. So for all y'all with them faster two-seater Mavericks, don't worry, I believe the procedure is going to be nearly identical. The only difference being the motor and oil filter will be accessed from the front of the machine, and in this Max will be working in the back. This is going to be a pretty cheap, quick and easy 3-beer job, so let's get started.
We'll start by warming up the bike. Then we can drain the oil with a 17mm socket through the passenger side of the skid plate. Never a bad idea to bring a few shop towels with you under the bike. Now if you're working on a two-seater, all you need to do is pull your passenger seat and grab your flathead screwdriver to get access to the oil filter. With the pop rivets removed, this passenger side panel will pop right out. The panel under the passenger seat also pops right out with the 4 pop rivets in the back, the 2 along the side, and 3 holding it to the floor. Now on this Max, the rear passenger seat is held in with 3 10mm bolts, 1 under the seat in front, and 2 access from the rear of the machine. I had to use a couple extensions and a swivel socket to reach this last one. Only thing left on this Max is the rear passenger panel held in with these 5 pop rivets. I find it's helpful to bag and label the bolts and pop rivets as they come off so I don't lose them. Now we can see that oil filter. Actually enhance. Enhance it again. There it is, with its 3 Torx 30 star bolts. And even though a Torx 30 star bit is recommended, if you don't have one handy, you can get away with an 8mm socket on these bolts. Once the bolts are out, I like to stuff a few shop towels in there before we pop off the cover and shimmy that filter out.
So I can be a pretty forgetful guy, and unfortunately I lost the book for this bike, but luckily BRP has the operator's guide for all of their models available on their website, and I thought that was pretty cool, so I'll be sure to leave a link to that in the description. So when I went online and printed off the oil change section of the operator's guide, there's a few things I noticed that I think are worth mentioning in regards to these oil filters. The first is this O-ring on the cap. BRP suggests replacing it every change, but this one appears to be in great shape, so I plan to reuse it. As far as the torque specs on these 3 oil filter bolts go, it is 10 Nm, so we'll set our torque wrench to 7.38 foot-pounds and be ready to rock and roll.
So this is how our old filter came out, with the rubber boot part facing in. Our new one will pop in the same sort of way with the rubber boot facing the inside of the engine. I like to be fairly careful here not to over tighten these bolts, as it'll tear that rubber O-ring, causing a leak. So what I'll do when a torque wrench isn't really handy is snug up these bolts by hand and choke up on the ratchet for the last half turn or so.
The operator's guide also mentions that the drain plug is actually a small magnet that collects any loose metal shavings in the motor. So now's as good a time as any to inspect it for any excessive metal or debris, as this can be an indication of internal engine damage. Now BRP also suggests replacing the metal crush washer that goes on the drain plug every oil change. And after doing a little research, I'll always spend a few extra bucks on a new one because they will only compress to spec once, so definitely worth replacing that. Torque specs on the drain plug are going to be 30 Nm or 22 foot-pounds.
Again, if a torque wrench isn't in the cards, I'll just snug up this drain plug with an extension by hand and finish that last quarter turn with a ratchet to compress our new crush washer. So those Can-Am oil change kits are pretty expensive, and I found out this Rotella T6 SAE 5W40 synthetic diesel oil from Walmart meets all the performance specs and is very popular with these Rotax V twins. And since my truck leaks like nobody's business, I've always got an extra 2.1 quarts of this stuff laying around. All that being said, if your machine is still under warranty, it's probably best to stick to BRP's recommended XPS oil kits and save your receipts and mileage to make sure all your warranty repairs get covered. Now I kind of like to spray some degreaser and hose off the mess to make checking for leaks easier. Let's make sure the dipstick has oil in it and crank her up, checking for leaks around the oil filter and drain plug. After it's run for a minute or so, it's probably a good idea to check the oil level again, as it'll now read lower since the oil's had a chance to circulate through the motor. And we'll add a little oil as necessary to get to the middle of that safe range. At this point, you'll probably notice the maintenance required notification is still on the dash. Here are the steps to reset it, and I'll put a link in the description to a short video showing the reset procedure step by step. All that's left to do is pop our panels back on and secure the seat on this Max with the 3 10mm bolts.
So I hope you found this Maverick oil change video helpful. And if you did, do me a quick favor and give it a thumbs up so I know we're on the right track here. And if you have any thoughts on how I can improve these videos, or really any comments on this topic in general, please share them in the section below. We'd love to hear from you. And of course, if you love these Can-Ams as much as I do, you can always subscribe to this channel. I plan to mix it up with a nice combination of maintenance, how to install, upgrade, and ride videos. I'm Danny with Escape Power Sports. I want to thank y'all for watching, and as always, we'll see y'all on the trails. And of course, if you love Can-Am as much as I do, you can always subscribe to this channel.